Hi, here's May, and first of all I want to thank you all for 10,000 subscribers. It means a lot to me. It's my dream to be able to make more YouTube videos about my art projects, and this means a lot to me. Thank you so much for all your support. Now onto the video. Reflecting on my past projects and habits has helped me to improve in my art as well as my personal life and set new goals. Since it's the start of January for 2024, I thought looking back at all the art I drew in 2023 would help me to define what I learned in 2023 as well as set new goals for 2024. And today I would like to take you along with me for looking back at 2023. I hope you can get something out of hearing about my experiences, and if you want to, leave some comments about reflecting on 2023 or what you want to do in 2024. And here's what I'll show in today's video. The biggest part will be about all projects I worked on in 2023. Here I'll first show the art while talking a bit about what the project was about and what stood out. Afterwards, I'll then put up my ranking of the project, ranking it from 0 to 10. I do this to reflect on the project, and here are the categories I'll use for this. YouTube, was I able to make nice videos from it, which also were well received? Shop, was I able to make nice products from it, which also were well received? Posts, was I able to make nice posts or also reels from it, which also were well received? Quality of art, how much do I like it? And overall, you should see a upwards trend throughout the year for this, since I improved with new things I learned over time. Fun to draw, which would be, did I enjoy drawing? Would I want to draw something like it again? Next is difficulty, or did I learn from it? And this means, was it challenging to me in a good way, not too difficult so that I feel overwhelmed and am slow, but also not too easy since I want to learn from my projects. And finally, did it work out nicely routine-wise? I like having clear steps to draw and not spending an unnecessary amount of time questioning things like colors I'll choose, the pose I'll go with, or how I want to use shading and line art, and so on. As you can tell, these are many aspects I want to look into, so I've decided to only put up the ranking for most of these while not talking about it in too much detail, because after I show you all the art from the projects, I will then move on to a small YouTube reflection. Here I'll talk a bit about my development with my videos and future plans from this. And afterwards I'll also include a study reflection where I mention my development and future plans for studying art as well. Finally, we'll end off with my biggest learnings. I show you some of my favorite projects or illustrations or YouTube videos and go over my goals for new projects. For now, let's start with a small timeline of the projects I worked on in 2023. We start in January. First are 3 small illustrations of Chongyun, my favorite Genshin character. I practiced some face shading here and I don't like how these turned out too much. Next we have 4 illustrations of Chongyun and Xingqiu with more detailed backgrounds. I like these, but can see some things I would draw differently right now, especially for the pieces I drew at the start of the year. I see a lot of things that are off to me. I would draw much wider, more muscular proportions right now, for example, and add more detail for hair and the face. This shows that I've learned from back when I drew these and changed how I draw illustrations, so I won't repeat saying this for each project. In January, I also drew some Ouran High School Host Club fan art. The heads here look too big to me. And finally, we have some character designs for the sun, moon and stars as characters. I still like the colors and designs I drew here. I would just change up the proportions for these characters. Next, we're moving on to February. Here I have a project where I drew Ensemble Stars characters with weather-themed outfits. For one, as lineups for the designs as well as an illustration for each character. I like this, combining fan art and sorting characters from a fandom through themes like weather, as well as then designing outfits based off of this. Next, in March, we have an illustration of Mika and Shu from Ensemble Stars. I would add a lot more detail if I were to redraw this. Actually, looking at all these old art pieces kind of makes me want to redraw them, just to see how it would look if I were to draw it right now. I also designed 2 new OCs in March. I also drew some turnaround sheets for them. Here I tried a more desaturated color palette, and I remember I only used one color, dark purple, to shade instead of multiple ones, which I normally do. I would increase the contrast for these right now, but I like this more dark aesthetic, just like I like the more pastel bright aesthetic I would usually go for. Lastly, I drew 2 illustrations of some random OCs, I guess, in March as well, also with a darker palette, and here I increased the contrast, but the anatomy still looks too thin to me right now. For April, I have the project of doing the 6 fan arts challenge 9 times, so I drew 54 characters, or if I remember correctly, 55 because I added one here. While I enjoyed this, since I could get used to the process of drawing simple character portraits and draw a lot of characters I like here, overall these turned out really boring and I don't like the warm colors. These could make for some nice stickers if they had better quality and weren't just simple illustrations of the characters. This project made me realize that, for example, if I were to buy stickers, I wouldn't just want a boring portrait of a character, unless I like the artist's style a lot on its own. Often it's unique, creative details that are added to make the illustrations stand out more, which in the end leads to me wanting to buy something as a sticker, for example. Moving on to May, and here we first have Genshin illustrations. Many of these were included in my video about drawing 14 Genshin fanarts for 14 days. Similarly to the 9 color 6 fanarts before, I don't like the warm kind of brownish colors I used for the illustrations here. In May I then also drew Genshin characters for Mermay. Here I like the colors, but the anatomy definitely could look better. I was learning a lot about drawing anatomy and got to design some mermaid or merman versions of the characters with this project though, which is why I liked it a lot. For June we're starting off with 5 BL ship illustrations. While they look simple, I enjoyed drawing these characters. After this we have some character designs. While it was challenging to come up with outfits and poses for these characters, which is different from when you're drawing fan art, which I do most of the time, I like doing these a lot. And finally we'd have some modern outfit designs for Zhao, Venti, Xingqiu and Chongyun. When I look at the bodies and anatomy here, I can already see a lot of improvement from back in January. I also like the outfits and colors for these. For the next project I drew the same characters as well as Alhaitham and Kavi with 6 expressions. I find they turned out a bit boring and I don't like the facial proportions I used here that much, but this was interesting for practicing some head angles and drawing expressions. Next we have a bunch of Chongyun and Xingqiu illustrations, including a comic. For this comic I only used flat colors and minimal shading, which saved some time. While I like the general colors, the skin colors look a bit off to me in the illustrations. Other than that, I like the dreamscape-like backgrounds here. The last project I finished up in July would be drawing in 7 artist styles. This challenged me a lot compared to all other projects, but it definitely was worth it. I also like how these illustrations turned out. For August, we're starting off with drawing Genshin characters in a ballet AU. Here I don't like the colors I used too much. They look too pinkish or blown out, which means they don't have enough contrast. This project was nice for practicing some anatomy though. And after this, we're moving on to, for one, redrawing Ouran High School Host Club screenshots, which I like doing since I got to redraw a scene and see how it would look using my current way of drawing. And then we'd also have drawing Genshin characters in Ouran High School Host Club. This was one of my favorite projects, definitely. I got to combine 2 fandoms I really like and reimagine the characters in the different worlds. It was a lot of fun. The reels I created for these are also my most viewed ones on Instagram, which makes me glad since it means a lot of people would enjoy seeing these 2 fandoms combined. Drawing the illustrations was pretty simple as well, since similarly to the screenshot redraws, I just had to draw Genshin characters doing the same pose as in the screenshot. Sorting all the characters and looking for the right scenes to draw them into took a lot of time though, but I got to rewatch the anime this way, which was nice. If I do a project like this again though, I'd have to prepare for it like a month in advance already. Finally, we're finishing off with a simple redraw. I didn't enjoy drawing the characters here as much as drawing the fanart before, for example, but this was good for seeing some developments I made in my art. Next up is September, with drawing Genshin characters in a cafe AU. The illustrations here turned out nice, but also a bit too plain to me. Other than that, I also drew 3 Genshin ship illustrations. I especially like how the colors for the Kavi and Alhaitham and Xingqiu and Chongyun turned out here. Then we'd have 2 link-click fanarts of Cheng Jiaoxi and Lu Huang, as well as my in-click art style study. I learned a lot from this, and this would also be my most viewed YouTube video. One of my strengths and what I myself enjoy doing is analyzing things, so I'm glad that these types of videos do good on my channel. I definitely want to keep doing some videos like these in the future. I've discovered artist studies are the best projects when it comes to learning something with the project for me, and I'm happy when I can share my learnings with others. At the same time, while these projects are great for YouTube and my own learnings, they don't lead to any shop products or popular posts like fanart does, for example, so I want to balance this with my other projects. Another project I could learn a lot from, but this time it was drawing fanart, was fixing and redrawing my old hero Amagi from Ensemble Stars illustration. While it was tedious to redraw the same piece multiple times, I got a lot out of this. For October, we're starting off with some OC challenges. These were fun to do. I also got to redraw my OC Yumari, the moon character design from January, this way. I like doing challenges like these where you have prompts to follow a lot. Next up are 4 illustrations of Fontaine Genshin characters as wizards. I enjoyed designing the outfits here, definitely. Next, we'd also have redrawing my viewers OCs. Remember how I said I like it when I have a prompt to follow for drawing? This is the case here as well, and this would definitely be one of the most fun projects for me to do because I get to see and draw other character designs. The last project in October would be for Ensemble Stars illustrations. I drew 2 backgrounds which I then reused for the other 2 illustrations. Here I also experimented with lighting, which is why I learned a lot from drawing this. I really like how the Mika and the Shu one turned out for these. Next up is November with some Ensemble Star stickers. This includes 49 characters overall, while I didn't learn that much over time because of drawing in the same way over and over again. For all other aspects this was pretty good. Here I, for example, wanted to make sure the illustrations would make for nice stickers and added interesting elements because of this. They are my most popular product on Etsy right now, so I'm glad this paid off. Finally, for December, we're starting off with a Draw This in Your Style challenge. While compared to the stickers before, this doesn't make for a nice product. This was fun to do and I learned more from it since I got to see how I would adapt someone else's illustration in my own way. After this we have an analysis of your erase art style, which I enjoyed doing a lot. Art style analyses are more difficult to me since I'm not sure in what way I should analyze the artist, but figuring all this out taught me a lot and I can't wait to keep learning more about this in the future. Next I mentioned drawing Hypnosis Mic characters, which was pretty similar to the N-Stars project before. I also got to draw some older anime characters here and look more into the Hypnosis Mic fandom, which I really enjoyed. Alright, and I saved the biggest project for last. I started working on this one in March of this year and worked on it alongside the many other projects you've seen me finish throughout the year. This project would be drawing Genshin Impact characters as idols, including 16 characters, which I drew character sheets, including a modern outfit as well as a idol outfit, as well as a full-on illustration including a background for each group. This was the most time-consuming project, and since it combines 2 of my biggest interests, I learned a lot from it and got to make some nice videos from it. It's also my favorite project out of all the ones I did. Actually, I'm not completely done with everything I wanted to do for this project, so I hope you look forward to seeing some more content related to it. I also have a question regarding this. Would you be interested in prints or stickers from the illustrations I made for the project? I could imagine the full illustrations would make for nice prints here, for example. But yeah, other than that, I also like how the illustrations turned out art quality wise most out of everything I drew this year. And that would be it for my big project recap. Next, let's talk a bit about my YouTube development. For one, the topics of my videos changed. At the start of the year, I focused on more tutorials, which helped me with putting what I learned during my art studies together, but since my skills weren't that high at the time, these videos also didn't perform very well. Instead of the tutorial videos, I shifted to doing more challenges like TikTok OC challenges or drawing my viewers OCs. I myself found I like these a lot and would like to keep on doing more of these as well. Other than this, I still talk about things I learned in my art style study videos, which are my most popular on my channel. I was fascinated after seeing some breakdowns of other artists' work by channels like TPPO or Noe Look, and since I have a lot of artists I admire and would love to learn from, I find this form of video showing the learnings from studying other artists great. It's something I can see myself doing more of in the future. Something that stayed consistent and I would like to keep this way as well would be including videos about my projects, which are either fan art or character design related. Other than this, what developed over time as well would be the quality of my videos. I used to talk very slowly and kept my editing more minimal. I remember how one day my sister said that she liked my mermaid video, but she would put it at 1.5 speed. That led to me looking at my videos more critically, and since I watched more and more art YouTube videos as well, I got new ideas for things to change, on which my videos improved quality-wise. While I do have some video editing skills from creating edits of characters in the past, doing longer videos like these, also including voiceovers and art and so on, is very different. I'm able to quickly do things like transform layers, add effects and text, but I'm not that experienced with thinking about what would make for a worthwhile, interesting video and how do I show my projects and art in a nice way. These are things I'm still learning something about and want to keep improving on. And if you have any feedback regarding this, my projects, my YouTube videos and overall art, feel free to let me know in the comments. It is always appreciated. Overall, my YouTube goals and plan for the next year would be to continue making videos based off my projects. Often this will be fan art, art style studies, as well as a few art challenges or character designs. Next, I reflect on how I studied art in 2023. I started with a study routine where I would focus on different topics for 1 to a few weeks. I would schedule videos to watch and draw along with. I also made notes watching these videos. This was a very helpful method for learning more about the fundamentals for me. I also repeated what I had learned throughout each week on the weekends, and I went over all my notes when creating the tutorial videos I would make. I didn't follow through with all my plans here though. I didn't watch all the videos I had planned for the topic of character design, for example, and I didn't make make videos for studying colors, shading, clothes, as well as composition and backgrounds. And I have to mention that what I learned about these topics isn't as clear in my head compared to what I learned and also made videos about. However, since I saw that the tutorial videos weren't performing very well and I personally preferred making videos about my projects, I decided not to spend too much time on videos like these anymore. After I went through the different fundamental topics, I then moved on to basically just doing my daily drawing routine, which I would do alongside with my studies before. And in this daily drawing routine, I would usually draw poses as well as heads or faces. Then I would sometimes try out various things like tracing anatomy, portrait studies, form studies, and so on. On some days, drawing gesture, poses, boxes in perspective, and things like this. And here I discovered that over time my brain gets very used to it, so that I often would end up not focusing on what I'm drawing, but instead think about other things. And here I would say this showed me that I have to switch up my exercises and make sure I focus on what I'm drawing. Other than my daily drawing habit, I also tried out Marc Brunet's Learning Anatomy in 7 Days plan for legs, the upper body, the torso, the arms, the hands, as well as the feet, focusing on one body part for 1 week, which was a nice experience. I saw that since I wasn't used to what I did, it was easier for me to focus on what I was studying. Other than this, I also studied some artists, and here I didn't have the problem of not being able to focus. Instead, I would sometimes struggle with figuring out a good way to study from the artists here, something that got easier over time and I learned a lot from it. Which is why for my overall plans for studying art in this year, I will definitely include a lot more artist studies, and I would like to get back into watching some tutorials while taking notes and drawing along with them. Here I again would like to make sure I'm not overwhelming myself and focusing on one topic at a time, summarizing my main learnings weekly. Finally, I'll show you my personal top 10 projects, illustrations, as well as YouTube videos from this year. Let me know some of your favorites in the comments. Alright, and for my goals for new projects, how you could summarize these overall would be that I would like to achieve the highest possible rankings for all the aspects that I mentioned when ranking the projects, and from the reflecting on the projects I can gather that this would mean doing more projects where I draw Genshin Impact or other anime fan art. This can make for nice posts and products, as well as good YouTube videos, and I personally enjoy doing this a lot. Then we have art style analysis projects. These are especially good YouTube and learning wise. And finally, OCs and other art challenges as projects. These lead to some original art and I really enjoy doing these. They perform well on YouTube and I learned something along this as well. Other than this, a personal goal of mine would be to find a nice routine that works with these goals. Routine wise, I focus too much time on just drawing and not editing things at the start of the year, leading to me spending a lot of time editing videos and finishing up projects at the end of the year. It's also why I mentioned so many projects in November or December when talking about the projects. It's when I finished up a lot of them, while not getting to draw as much new things as I would like. I will just have to find a good balance of including drawing time, editing videos, and managing social media, as well as time for university and personal time for working out, eating, or spending time with family or friends. Time management has helped me with getting many things done in the past, and to me having a routine is very relaxing since it enables me to just focus on the tasks I'm doing without having to worry about what I'll be doing when during the day. I also find my body gets used to the routine, leading to me getting into whatever task it is I'm doing more easily. And that would be it for this video. I hope it was helpful and inspiring to you. I wish you the best for 2024. Thanks for watching, sticking around my channel and watching my videos. Your support means a lot to me. Have a nice day and bye.